It's the DMV Wave Doctor. Located right here in Bowie, Maryland, honey dolls and jets, okay? Hercules! Hercules! Okay? Child, welcome back. Welcome black. The Weave Doctor is back and ready to attack. Okay? Honey, it's been a long time coming, but the Weave Doctor is here to bring good cheer. Okay? So today, honey dolls and gents, you know, we got to start getting our the Weave Doctor to come back on board. Come all aboard! All aboard! Okay? The Weave Doctor got to come back on board, okay? Weave Doctor had a lot of little personal things going on with family issues, and so now the Weave Doctor's back, got a little bit more focus. And so we're going to be relaunching our hair loss, campaign like we were doing before, educating the clients, because first of all, the Weave Doctor is a certified trichologist, okay? And a cosmetologist as well. And also an herbalist. So I have a lot of different things that I try to integrate my knowledge to help people's hair to regrow back. And just, just to make people feel better. I know at one point the Weave Doctor stopped doing, another reason why the Weave Doctor stopped posting as much, because I think as far as the vision was concerned, it seemed like it was getting lost. Because, some of the videos, we were like, I felt like sometimes just repeating knowledge over and over again. Okay? Also, in regards to some of the, talk about some of the hair units, sometimes I felt like I was just going over those same topics over and over again, not really offering a lot of depth to it. So we're going to try to, I think I'm starting to figure out, the Weave Doctor's figuring out how she's going to move forward with that. Because at the end of the day, honey, you can only talk about some things at so many times. Okay? For how long? Okay? For example, the Weave Doctor has on one of her custom unitives. Now, this one can be worn as an alopecia unit as well. With this one, it does not have a lot of lace on the hair. On the hairline, it's a smaller lace. So this is also good for the girls who tired of using all that adhesive all over their hair. So this is the I'm gonna put it in the comment section. Our small lace, full units. And these are great for if you're trying to go glueless as well. And low maintenance, okay? And this hair, I'm trying to think what hair this is. This is, I believe, is like our raw grade, our medium raw grade. We have a lot of different types of hairs out there. There's a lot of different types of hairs that we offer. This one is a high quality, but then at the same time, it's not at the most price range. So most of these units with this density and pattern generally stem for about $750 and up with the install included. Okay, $750 to $800 depending on the length and all that type stuff. All right, so today, we talked about the thin lace, the small lace. So that's been becoming very popular. A lot of people are getting out of using all that daggone tape and spray and gack and all those types of things. So if this is something that you're interested in too, check, inbox or DM the Weave Doctor to figure out more about these different type of hair pieces. All right, so now we're going to be talking about androgenetic alopecia. This is female pattern baldness. This is probably one of the most popular forms of alopecia. Now, you have to watch the Weave Doctor because it's been a minute with some of these different stats and things like that. But typically, this is the most popular one, and I believe it's like 50 or 70% of women have, I think 50 to 60% of women have this form of alopecia. And this one is just, a lot of people actually get this alopecia while they're going through menopause. That's why a lot of people, as they age, they start to deal with these different hormone imbalances. One thing about the androgenetic alopecia is actually the testosterone in your body can have a lot to do with this as well. So the testosterone is converted into the DHT, the dihydrotestosterone. So these are just, so this is something that you want to look into if you're noticing, if you're like over 45 or 50 plus, and you're noticing you're having thinning, gradual thinning. Now, this one begins slowly. it's like it starts generally in the crown area down the center, and then it starts to expand. So this is something that has to be monitored. And the thing about this form of alopecia, if you don't start to take care of it, you're going to begin to deal with more hair loss. These follicles, as the DHT, that hormone gets attached to the hair follicle, and it stops. This DHT is dangerous, baby. Okay? Say danger! Y'all know the weed doctor crazy. But with this DHT, it just attacks to the hair follicle, and it miniaturizes it because it stops nutrition and being able to get to the hair follicle. So this DHT is very volatile concerning hair loss. That is why we offer the hair growth treatments. And, make sure to put hair growth in the chat if you guys are interested in getting some of our hair loss treatments, or DM the Weave Doctor. Just go to our message us on this Instagram app or Facebook, whichever one you follow us on YouTube. So, that's why it is imperative that if you're dealing with hair loss, it needs to be addressed in the early stages. You do not want this thing to keep progressing and progressing, and then the next thing you know, like if you start to go to get some of our treatments, you will then begin to find out that this hair loss begins in stages. You do not want to get it to the point where it's getting advanced, and it's like pretty much you have like a large hole in the middle of your head. Okay, so these are just some things that you really have to. These are just some things that you have to be knowledgeable about, when you're trying to cure your hair loss, or at least not even cure it, but at least greatly reduce the amount of hair loss that you're experiencing. So you want to attack the problem, because with the DHT, the more that it attaches to the hair follicle, the more problems you're going to have. You're going to get the miniaturization, and then the actual hair follicles are going to almost be non-existent. Okay? So if you don't want this to happen, then you just want to make sure that you take care of this. And some ways that we treat the DHT that attached to the hair follicle with the female pattern baldness is that we begin to use DHT blockers. And some of these things can, we have a lot of these different things in the office. So we have different shampoos, conditioners, different herbs that, because I'm an herbalist, different herbs that I have created and took in consideration when formulating some of my different my different type of ointments on the scalp. So these things all help to bring oxygen to the scalp and also to reduce inflammation. Also, another thing is that if you come in the office, we have different type of scalp modalities or different type of machines and things like that that help to bring blood flow. They call it vasodilators. They help to bring blood flow to the scalp. Very similar to, how people are taking, these men are taking these different pills like Viagra, things like that. They're trying to increase their blood flow. That's very important. The follicle and the hair bulb requires to have some type of blood flow going to the scalp. So that's very, very important. So we have a lot of different little machines that we can use. Also, other little scalp treatments as well that helps with this. And so now we're just going to briefly talk about, some of the different causes of the female pattern baldness. Like we said, aging, changes in the level of androgens, the male hormones in the body. After reaching menopause, women find that the hair on their head is thinner while the hair on their face is coarser. All right. And also, if you have a family history of male or female pattern baldness. So this thing has a lot to do, with some of your genetics. Okay. So let's see what the next section is talking about. Hair loss can occur for other reasons than female pattern baldness. And that's another thing. Sometimes it's not always female pattern baldness. Sometimes it has a lot to do with different diseases that you get. So if you come to the DMV Weave Doctor and you want to get your different type of scalp analysis or nutrition analysis, and you fill out one of our hair loss forms, I'm going to put the link down below, and you can go and click on the trichology forms. And with that, we ask you 10,000 questions. Some people got an attitude, but when you go to the doctor, don't you fill out them 5 and 6 forms and 10 forms and y'all don't say a word. Okay, so don't be messing with the weed doctor. Okay, we ain't got time for that. Okay, so there's a lot of different things. Like you have too little iron. You know, maybe you may be dealing with biotin, different deficiencies. Even I didn't realize this: syphilis, patchy hair loss, major illnesses, surgery, or even pregnancy. All these things can affect your hair loss. You know, and so that's what I would say. A lot of people say, well, can it grow back? That's why I tell everyone, start in the earliest stages to get the best results. Do not wait until it's advanced, where you pretty much have a whole, you know, they used to be Joan and calling Fred Sanford and all this type of hair loss on the top of your head. So you really, really want to make sure that you're addressing the problem head on. You don't want to wait too late, okay? So if you guys are interested in finding out more, make sure to book your hair analysis appointment. You know, and we're going to start doing virtual assessments as well. Make sure to follow that link tree. I believe at our stand store, if it's still open, we have some of the availability on there, letting people, educating them on how to get their virtual hair doctor assessments. And also we're doing the hair tissue mineral analysis as well. And if you come into the office, we're going to give you a dermoscopy. That's $85. And if you want to find out about some of the other services, we can tell you more. Most of those services start off at $100 and up. And they include a scalp detox. That helps remove any excess sebum, dirt, grime from the scalp, bacteria. Then we infuse with other different type of minerals and the DHT blockers that we were just talking about. In addition to that, once those treatments are done, our clients purchase our handy dandy oils. Those oils are magnificent. They can be purchased at pureverygermain.com. You can find it at the link tree as well. And pretty much it's going to help to reduce that inflammation and the DHT within the scalp. Make sure to book with your fabulous hair coach, with the weave doctor, your certified trichologist. We've been doing this for a while. We've had very effective results. Most clients can see results even within like a couple of weeks. Even if just fine hairs, I had clients that say they receive new hairs within 7 to 8 days. So this is just something to look into, you know, when you're trying to regrow your hair. All right. Thank you so much for you guys for joining us today. It's been a wonderful time. It's been a wonderful show. But the weed doctor has got to go. We're going to come back next week. We talked about female pattern baldness. Let's see what else we're going to talk about. Maybe we're going to get into some of these diets and how certain diets can make you more predisposed to hair loss. All right. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful evening. It's lovely outside. Bye now.